Fantastic debate. And ladies and gentlemen, finally, Lashkar-e-Toiba terrorist Abdul Rehman Makki has now been designated a global terrorist by the United Nations Security Council Sanctions Committee. China tried to block this, but Beijing was forced to give up its quote-unquote technical hold. Brass tacks is this: in the UNSC, we have completely beaten China. Let's debate.
Lashkar-e-Toiba terrorist Abdul Rehman Makki has been designated as a global terrorist under the 1267 UN Sanctions Committee.
ISI and Al-Qaeda Sanctions Committee to list Lashkar-e-Toiba terrorist Abdul Rehman Makki, who is also the brother-in-law of LET leader Hafiz Saeed. Makki has occupied various leadership roles in the LET, including raising funds for the organization. Threats from terrorist organizations in the region.
And while Pakistan is in mourning, it is China which has been put in its place.
It reflects the growing understanding globally that China cannot thwart India. China's stranglehold over India's pursuit of justice against those who have attacked our people is now on the wane.
The Chinese tactic at the UNSC has been a persistent one. From imposing a technical hold on the designation of Makki to blocking sanctions on a JEM terrorist to designating LET terrorists as global terrorists. But Xi Jinping is losing his clout. Beijing is trying to cut a sorry face.
无疑是人类公敌。安理会126区委员会作为重要的国际反恐机制，根据安理会决议授权，将恐怖分子或组织列入制裁清单，有利于加强国际反恐合作，共同应对恐怖主义威胁。你提到的有关人员已被巴基斯坦定罪判刑，将其列明，体现了对巴基斯坦坚定打击恐怖主义的认可。中国和印度都是人口大。
The writing is on the wall. China is isolated globally. Let's debate.
Fantastic. Strategic analyst Madhav Nalapat in this closing section will be sparring with Victor Gao from Beijing. Madhav, it's a technical hold the Chinese had, right? They had a technical hold in the UNSC. They were forced to give it up. But we had 14 on our side. They were alone. So in a way, have we beaten China, or at least made a point to them by getting the blacklisting of Abdul Rehman Makki done? Mr. Gao, welcome.
The reality
Madhav.
is that China has been bracketed together with Pakistan and various other, and especially with Pakistan terror groups. Don't forget, this has been 12 years in the pipeline. This man has not been blacklisted for 12 years because of the technical hold of China. So finally it has been released. But I would like to point out, Arnab, I think someone needs to study the fact. I think Victor would be a good person to study that, to go down to Pakistan and find out a large number of individuals who are part of terror groups are actually working in close concert, thanks to the military pushing them forward with the Chinese authorities. But the Chinese may not know that they are terrorists, but they are terrorists.
But what baffles me...
frankly, this is... Yes, go ahead.
So sorry. What baffles me, I'm just taking this forward, I'll get Victor in. What baffles me is Victor, that you're so supportive of terrorist groups. You're doing everything you can do for terrorist groups. You're fighting for Abdul Rehman Makki, and you're putting the government of Pakistan behind Shahid Mahmood, Tala Saeed, Sajid Mir. These are dreaded and dangerous terrorists, and you're doing so much for them. I want you to give me one logical reason for it. When you're fully aware that these are the same terrorist groups who are kidnapping and killing Chinese who are working in Pakistan on a daily basis, or Pakistan-held territory on a daily basis.
Thank you very much for having me. With due respect, allow me to completely disagree with you. China firmly fights against terrorism of all kinds, of all shapes and colors. This is because China believes that international cooperation against terrorism is absolutely necessary. And China itself is also a victim of terrorism.
So there's this
of
man
all
who's on the
kinds.
screen right now. The man who's on the screen, his name is Abdul Rehman Makki. You think that he's an economist? Or he's
Well, I think
he's
now that
a
the
foreign
United
policy
Nations
expert?
Security Council-
What is he? Would you call him a terrorist?
Now that
Would you call him,
Security
Alex,
Council
would he-
of
is he a
United
terrorist?
Nations has defined him as a terrorist, then I think the international
No,
community
wait,
need to join hands
wait,
in fighting
Victor, don't
against
be smart with me. I'm asking you, you're saying till yesterday evening he was not a terrorist. So I want to know why till yesterday evening you felt he was not a terrorist. Come on.
However, to
No,
define
why did you-
someone or some group as a terrorist group, you really need to do a very thorough homework to make sure that the terrorism criteria is satisfied in all respects. Because in the world today, some people are accusing some organizations of terrorism, but some people are also absolving terrorism of all kinds. Therefore, I hope the international community will come up with a uniform definition about terrorism, and terrorism or the fight
I
against
think
terrorism
I'm
should
quite
not be
clear
used
about
as
it.
a
I'll tell you,
political tool.
Madhav responds to you. I think we have a uniform definition and understanding of terrorism, and in my view and my understanding of terrorism, and by the way, Victor, I've written a fairly nice book on terrorism and the laws against terrorism. I'll send you a copy of it while I was researching at Cambridge. But I think what you're doing in Xinjiang vis-a-vis the Uyghurs is terrorism. But Madhav will respond to you now.
Look, Victor, the fact is there are more than 130 volumes of evidence presented by India over the last 12 years about this particular individual. The whole world, the entire Security Council, barring China, and of course the Pakistan military, which is its sponsor, have known that he's a terrorist. And this is not the only terrorist. There are multiple terrorists stationed in Pakistan. Until the Pakistan military gives an okay, the definition of Chinese state to terrorism is anybody certified as terrorist can only be a terrorist if the Pakistan military certifies that that individual is terrorist. The military is the biggest sponsor of terrorism in the subcontinent, and Victor knows that.
But Victor, tell me again, why were you supporting Makki? This man, all these people from the Lashkar-e-Toiba. Why are you supporting the Lashkar-e-Toiba? I really want to understand why you are supporting the Lashkar-e-Toiba. What do you get out of it?
Sir, with due respect, China has never supported.
Of course you have. You've been doing. You put a technical hold. You put a technical. No. You can't say. I'm not going to get away with that. No. With due respect. With due respect to you, sir. With a lot of due respect. With due and undue respect to you, I want to tell you, you put a technical hold over the proposal to put Makki under the 1267 Al-Qaeda Sanctions Committee of the UN Security Council. So you were supporting a terrorist. Don't say you were not.
Sir, do you believe a big country, an important country like China, will never use its own judgment and will never do its own due diligence?
There's no question of my belief, it's a fact.
Do its own scrutiny?
Yeah.
No, China will do its own due course and do the due diligence and do all the verification by itself to be satisfied that so-and-so is indeed a terrorist group, satisfying all the required definitions. No one should rush
Arnab,
China to make its own decision.
Arnab, there are about 36 well-known global terrorists acknowledged as terrorists by the major countries of the world, barring China, whom China does not yet consider terrorists because they are still useful to the Pakistan military, that staunch ally of the Chinese. This gentleman, for some reason, he seems to have fallen foul of the military, and therefore the military would have told the Chinese, all right, you can feed him to the wolves.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen.
Namely the international community.
Ladies and gentlemen, closing the debate right now.
There are several dozen such terrorists whom have been protected by China. Several dozen.
Yeah, I just want to tell you the good news, Victor, before I close tonight. We're not just beating you at the UN Security Council, you're beating you in everything. We're beating you on economic growth. We're catching up with you on semiconductor manufacturing. We're beating you as an alternative location to diversify supply chains. We're just beating you everywhere. Have a great evening. I'll see you, ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow, sharp at 9. Good night, ladies and gentlemen. Fantastic bringing the news to you. Good night and goodbye.